Stop striving for a version of yourself and start unbecoming a version of yourself that you're not. A lot of us spend our lives striving for this, needing to achieve that. I'm not good enough because I need this or that or her or him or this job or that car. And we think these material things in and of themselves will bring us a sense of fulfillment, when in actuality, the trick of the law of nature and how the world works is we have to unbecome the things that we are not, because we spend our whole lives being told who we are, what we can and can't do since we're young. It happens so subtly we don't even notice. It happened to our parents, their parents before them, and everyone else for generations. And the very few that step outside of that boundary of acting how people are used to seeing them act, or being who they've always been because of fear. They want to do this, they want to do that, but what would they think, or how would they view me if I was to make that shift? And that's the fear talking. That's the thing that holds us all back. And that's the thing we have to get rid of. We have to unbecome who we're not and who we are deep down, where no one can hear our thoughts, no one can see us in private, the thing we yearn to do and to be, and say and act. That's who we all need to strive to be. And honestly, that's all celebrities are. All celebrities are individuals who realize that they didn't care about being judged. They chose to step outside of their comfort zone into fear, into that wall that seems so tall, but once you climb over it, you realize that's how life is supposed to be lived. Life is not supposed to be dictated by rules and societal approval. It's supposed to be an inner knowing of who you are and simply pursuing that. It's not more complicated than that. That's all life is. And you get small glimpses of that within people you see on the day-to-day. It's like, okay, you like a certain dress style, so you wear this. You're into a certain kind of show, so you watch that. But on a deeper, very deep, more spiritual level, it's truly living and walking in the world, not caring what people think, and truly just doing the things that bring you joy and happiness in creative intuition, and exploring those things and seeing what, how life is from that side. I spent my whole life, most of us probably spend our whole lives living this way of how would they think, how I look. And it's this instillment of fear. And honestly, outside of, our parents telling us what this and that, I don't know where that voice even really comes from. It's a part of the ego. It's a part of the individualized self of how we're going to be judged and looked at. But the mind is so powerful that at the same time as creating, look at this prehistoric bird that just flew down here. But at the same time as creating this reality, we're also, by our actions and what we want to do, we also have to come back and watch out for our mind, because even our mind will tell us we can't do things. Aside from people, so it's like two battles that have to be fought. It's the fear within oneself, as well as overcoming the standards that society sets. So in the Bible, when it talks about overcoming, this is what we have to overcome. We have to overcome the stipulations of what the world is pressing upon us. And that's what it is. That's why in the Bible it says do not fear so many times throughout the Bible. Because it's only in fear, which comes in many hidden forms, lack of belief, scarcity mindset, poverty, all these things. They're just fear. You have to raise that state of consciousness so that you're beyond fear, you're beyond this scarcity, you have abundance, you have courage, you have these things. And those can only be attained through the adaptation of the realization of what the world really is. And all it is truly viewing the world through the lens of limitlessness. We have to stop putting on so many limitations. My arm's getting tired, so without dropping my phone, I'm trying to give my shoulders a rest. But yeah, it starts off, you're gonna get a super surge of anxiety, especially when you first try to step outside of it's like having one side of a fence, it's like this railing I'm leaning on. It's like on this side there's this beautiful lake and the mountains behind me, the nature, the sky, this beautiful scenery, right? And that's on this side. But then if you turn around, it's still a beautiful day, but you see buildings, there's people walking, trees and all that. It's like, yeah, it's not a meditative of a state. And you want to be on this side, you want to be on this other side. But you're scared of like, oh, well, everyone else is on this side. I'm going to be the only one over there. What are they going to think if I'm the only one over there and this and that? You just got to go for it and get the true experience of life through the eyes of someone who doesn't fear, Because what you'll find is as you start to do and strive for the thing you really want to do in life, you'll feel scary, you get anxious, you get nervous, oh, this is stupid, da-da-da. Those thoughts, you gotta ignore them. You just gotta keep doing it. Soon you get to the point where the thoughts come up kind of, but you're like, okay, I know this is just the old scared me doing its thing, trying to preserve itself, trying to let me know like, hey, you're stepping outside the bound, but you got to keep going. And then once you're outside the bounds, you alchemy, you begin to vibrate at a different frequency. You start to realize it's like, okay, it's not that scary, it's not that hard to attain. It's just a matter of embodying a version of me that I know I want to be. And to anyone doubting, like, well, how do I know I can do it? How am I the one? If you have a thought of a version of yourself in your mind, that's the deep inclination that version of you in reality exists. You just got to transfer it into that. Because all life is starts as the imagery in the imagination. Think of anything you're doing right now, any job, any promotion, anything you've done, created, whether you're drawing, reading, whatever. Right before you read a book, you imagine yourself what the book is. You imagine yourself, okay, I want to get this book. You imagine you doing the thing. You want to draw a picture. You imagine yourself drawing the picture. Okay, I'm going to draw a picture of a flower. Imagine a flower, you start drawing. Same thing with reality. You want to imagine yourself. I imagine myself like this. And then you start acting as if how that person would act today. And the next thing you know, your world will reflect that to you because that's who you're being today. All our world reflects is how we're feeling inside. So we're living in fear and all these things. That's all we're going to see around us, even with the negative news. Yes, there's stuff going on in the world, but why am I overanalyzing that right now? It's not my job to do that. There's people who are put in power who strive to get to there to do that. Yes, be aware, be appreciative. But this is not healthy, Back in the day before we had TVs, you didn't know what was going on in Zimbabwe if you're all the way in Canada. So I don't think it's healthy to really know what's going on everywhere at 24/7. The powers that be and people, are going to handle that. But we should just focus on doing our due diligence to be aligned, being retrospective, living how we're supposed to live. And in that state, we can bring stuff in harmony. We don't have to, have awareness of things that are beyond us. The only awareness we should have I can't even talk right now. The only awareness we should be having perspective of is our inner awareness, because only through that are we gonna really truly find our peace and resonance. But yeah, let me get to it, guys. Wanted to stop by, enjoy this beautiful scenery. And here's this prehistoric bird still chilling here. I don't know if you guys can see him. He's really skinny. Bam. He's doing his thing. Alright, guys. That's it for now. Take it easy. Remember, you create your reality by how you feel, and don't let the fear stop you. Peace.